EOU marang moula mayap aungil madangali arngula belau iseyaul akmul mogon our other belau seyaul akmul mogon our other belau
ngil tutaw msulang mal klobo ka ngil tutaw mal klobo lungi longeyim lurir mergi darokui nga ka el mo merega senkyak mo hoster gid nga al Jennifer Sugiyama el nga Rapala Wave Radio 89.9 et el chorgi da UDESUALL kadangal tanga ter el al tutaw ngobangeda Mrs. BENNIE MOSES-MESUBED, el ngartiangi ma Dr. CORI ra Eastern Oregon University, de local betokol ngayas kal ngara skura Palau Community College, Maigal High School, lamit tertir. Ede ko opangeda terul ngalgel bela wel ngayam lato dara Eastern Oregon University el Alrak, makadamal congratulate tertigel tilob der el Alrak. Ma ngaringi arguk dirgo students say makmul masa Miss Mesubed mal bol shogartir ogore do mu la shorgit makumal misulang ekun miskawe Miss Mesubed
oy kamral misulang Jennifer malungil total more other bela rohui agi malosus ra mataklel bela o tokubet sel mora robul bela mar masil bela ma president ma vice president ma rather all bill مترقل بقى الأذر بلال مال مسكما متعال مال ملونيل الهوستل مال بروفايدا مالونيل هاسبيتاليتي الألم الجوك مر بلاوي جو continue build a partnership connect recruit at the same time magi provide a support المرترقل نغالغ الجوك ملانيل تيا Eastern Oregon University السكول الصوري المملمول مالمورني aging artiang nga ma professor English writing director Summer Bridge program Dr. CORI BREWSTER ma recent graduate Bachelor of Science of Communication Studies NYGMA Moses recently hired Ravela magimal excited for that ma current student student leader at campus si KOLEBRANG MIRA el business administration a major ngi ma again ako maral sulang agi mal samarian ngatang ko ko ay sa ko reram ma ko kimoru ra el algim ngarbelaw
sulang Miss Mesubed pato mo ra KOLEBRANG Miss Coli low ay sergi dulwa senggang ngalgarger ngalgel taang ulmu nga raskura Eastern Oregon University at akamla Palau Community College transfer mora EOU
Ali maralungit tutan marigid roy. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all the listeners and the viewers allow me to reintroduce myself. Angkla si KOLEBRANG MIRA and I go by Koli direct. I'm a senior at Eastern Oregon University. Ngalaga la Maria ma daitaro MIRA makmongal gar oygol direct mongal gara tulungal gara do gara malgayok. Ngaga let's start tara Palau Community College. Mlomrege transfer mora EOU. Mang soy sa EOU as a junior, I already work my way up mo senior ra al school year. So I'm expected to graduate next year May, and then return in Merbela hook master ngalge nga ka ongal ka kira kal sokal mastery waset ta dai job ang sabi kal mutal malmol ma masters ra but masters ra gagi dele make sure nga or tal field nga kal osuberengi I'll offer the online among also planning on maybe just taking my master's online Thank you.
Dagun sa NYGMA el Google introducing ilwasenggang buigarger engalgel taang lelaster kisakaw kalak mo gamle itargim Akibatek om tula se gangang lagel taang manamok klolade masanga kata mo ay sulwa singaram le major ka we kata congratulate teringi lentilo der el al rakara EOU makul misang.
Ali and good morning everyone. My name is NYGMA Moses and I'm the son of Patrick Moses and Ruby Moses. I grew up in Koror and lived most of my life in Irai, and I have families all over from Koror to Pelilio to Angkaor. My education started off through Palau Community College also, and through there I got my associate's degree, and after I plan to also extend my education to my bachelor's, and that is why I chose to head off to Eastern Oregon University. I think 2022 I arrived at EOU, and after 2 years I graduated, and here I am back home. And yeah.
So what's your major?
Oh,
Or
I
you
apologize. Yeah, I graduated in the Bachelor's of Communications and Media Arts.
Awesome. And Dr. CORI, so you're a professor at EOU, and what part of the United States of America you're from, and what brought you to Eastern Oregon University, and how long have you been teaching there?
Sure. Good morning. I'm from Oregon. I'm from the state of Oregon. I started at Eastern Oregon University in 2007. I have lived all over the U.S., and I was terrified when I finished my PhD that I would get stuck somewhere in the middle, too far away from the ocean. So I was ready to go home to Oregon. I teach in the English writing program. I'm also the co-chair of that program. I am the coordinator for campus writing programs, and the best part of my job is directing the Summer Bridge program in collaboration with BENNIE.
So the Summer Bridge, what is the Summer Bridge program?
Sure. So Summer Bridge is a 2-week orientation program. It begins before the start of fall term. It began in 2016 specifically for incoming students from the Pacific Islands, for international students, and students for whom English was an additional language. In 2021, we were fortunate to get additional funding to open it up to all interested first-year students and international transfer students. But the goal is students come, it's fully paid for. They get 2 credits before the start of fall term. They get to meet other students, faculty, mentors, tutors, build a really thick network of people before the school starts, and get a little taste of what their classes will be like.
So help them with their homesick too.
Right, we keep them so busy they can't possibly be homesick for a couple weeks anyway.
So it sounds like a very environmentally friendly campus. Yeah. Right? I mean, look at you and
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Family away from home.
Oh, that's good. So, Benny, ikaw mo ta background der kartial school mga ringin.
Yeah, will to tao. Nga ka actually nga ka direct graduate ra Palau Community College. Akmle transfer mura after PCC. Yak first akmle transfer mura UH Manoa. Amle find myself kamal struggle. It was bigger than I expected. They didn't realize. So let's say I'm actually a small town rural person at heart, and I happen to have some classmates from Miss and Mlara, Eastern Oregon, and at the time it was in-state tuition. So obviously it was really a draw for me. Magi yakno end up with transfer more say. Ogore finish ra bachelor sarngage ogore oriol telkib, and then did my master's. I was fortunate that I got hired, so I've been in different departments across the campus, from disability services to learning center, working with alumni relations, my foundation, and then through multicultural and diversity, equity, and international programs and services. In pandemic, I actually left to work in Washington State till more serve as their dean at Columbia Basin College, and then had the opportunity to come back to Eastern Oregon once this position of Associate Vice President opened. And so I was very fortunate to come back. I worked with CORI before. We actually have a similar mentor that we didn't know is somebody who was a mentor for me when I was a professional and a student. And then getting to know CORI, we were like, how is it that we know this one who's been kind of instrumental in our professional career? So, and we've been working since doing this summer bridge and many other programs. I also work with CORI on Title III partnerships. We have a USDE federal grant that covers everything from advising to writing, experiential learning, systems and curriculum software that we collaborate to make sure that we are really thinking about how we're serving our students and ensuring that they are retained and they graduate.
That's awesome. So, Dr. CORI, I don't know, in Palau, everybody seemed to be getting into politics. And how can you, I mean, now that you're a professor at the EOU, how do you inspire kids to be able to come into English and writing, or if you can share that? And with the modern technology, she mentioned online courses.
Sure, and maybe this is a terrible example because NYGMA was going to come as an English writing major, and apparently I convinced him to switch to communication studies. So, but I teach rhetoric, and I told some of the students that we met with this week, I had no idea what that meant when I was in high school. I had no idea what that meant by the time I finished my bachelor's degree. But what I came to learn over time is that rhetoric is the study of how language interacts with the social world, right? Wow. So students who are going into politics, who want to go to law school, who are running nonprofit organizations, who are heading NGOs, writing policy, are also students of language and literacy. So that's, I guess, I hope my hook is to help students really think about how our language is so central to who we are, to our identity, to our sense of what we want our communities to look like, which is also what we've really tried to infuse in the Summer Bridge program. So even if they go on to study communication studies or history or business administration, that weaves through their curriculum no matter what.
He wanted to go into English literature, and you convinced him to go to communication. And so, no, and it's nice because, you know, sometimes when a student finishes college, they're still wondering what they're going to major in. So, I would like to know, do you see a student and you identify a student by looking at his character and decide that this is more his character? So, you know, because sometimes we go to college and then later on you're like, oh, this is not my passion, I don't love what I do. And to me, I believe that, you know, you don't force your children, but you support them in any decision that they make, because why support them to somebody, you know, to do a career that they don't find interest in? So I would like to ask, how did you see him and advise him to do communication and media rather than?
I think part of it is just getting to know students. Like, what are they interested in? What are they curious about? Most students don't know when they come to college, you know, and we don't know what we don't know. So part of what we try to do in Summer Bridge in particular is introduce students to community members who apply different kinds of knowledge in different ways, so they can see, like, oh, maybe I never considered that biology was really my passion, but look at what this person is doing with that degree. So I don't know. I think, you know, NYGMA can speak for himself. Yeah.
So when I went to Eastern Oregon, I had to declare for a major because when I graduated at PCC, I was under the liberal arts program. I only chose that because, like a lot of college students, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But my uncles told me that since that major dealt with a lot of different things, that most of my credits were going to be able to transfer. So a little tip for students that don't really know what they want to do, liberal arts is kind of a safe bet if you're looking to transfer most of your credits out. And in terms of CORI guiding me, I just entered with the English major because PNSB required that we select a major and don't go undeclared to get like loans and all the support. So I just chose. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and throughout my high school and my elementary, I had good grades in English. I thought, oh, maybe I should just be an English major. But then when I went there, all the reading scared me. So I talked with Corey, and she was asking me what I do enjoy, and I told her I like doing edits with media, photos, videos, and stuff like that. So then she pointed me to an advisor that dealt with those things, and meeting him, doing all those things, I fell in love with that major. So that's why I decided to transfer.
Also follow up a little bit. Yeah, I wanted to maybe just follow up with a little bit of like an anecdote or a story. Like, oftentimes I was one of those students. It's easy for us to think about like what career path, if it's something like a lawyer, a doctor, something that's very straight, linear. But oftentimes, as Corey was talking about, we don't know really how do we look at a career pathway and think about like what does that path look like. And I thought that becomes our role. When I was going to college, I was really thinking about like what do I want to do and how do I make my life like financial. I wanted financial stability. I wanted all those things. And what I saw as people who had that were like doctors and lawyers. So, so those were some of the easier. When you're an 18-year-old in high school, a lot of times in college, we try to let students know, what are the different types of career paths that are success. And I remember my advisor saying, get paid to do something you love. And I was like, I don't know anybody who does what I love and gets paid for it. And now I know because I love my job. But I didn't know like, how do I become a vice president at a college? Nobody told me what major I'm supposed to get to do that, right? So there are many different, how do I become a nonprofit, like, an executive director of a nonprofit, do things like environmental studies, or what are some of those things. So our role, I think, is really talking to students, helping them understand and reflect what that looks like for them, and then guiding them so they can actually be more passionate about what they're doing. And it also shows how they can thrive. Once I realized that education was something that I'm passionate about, and I did everything I can to stay away from education, because I grew up with many family members who were teachers, and I thought, I don't want to be a teacher. And now I'm here, and it's really interesting to really think about our holistic support that we try to do when we want to engage students in both the classroom experience, but also what experiential learning outside of the classroom exposure that they can get through Summer Bridge, the field trips that they do outside of the class where they meet agencies, they go through the community, they meet with many different leaders on campus and off campus, and they get to think about like, what does that person do? How do I get there? And what do I need to do now to prepare for that pathway?
Yeah, and I think, Dr. Corey, I'm listening to you folks, and I said it's very important for a professor or a teacher to really have passion and love for her job, because they can inspire their students and really lead them and give them a clear mind and a clear path on what direction, on what to take. Ngoi se Bennie, dasing sensei el ngari sel tiga rengar kau ma clamaria rengar kau lol ngaseu rangkal ngal ka dasya mal klok tutuleleng koto meser tia kangal dial war be pitar ngal gra dai ngal mal gora stressed out tiga gora mal kumeser tit to mal enjoy ngartial school kadam sara o singir mang akora dimle soal tulisel tor bela makuk other bela sa peril tigel guk our listeners who are Palans can understand, so I would go back and forth if it's okay with you. But yeah.
Can I follow up
Yeah.
on that? Say, like, sense of belonging is a really important component of what we do. It's actually one of our major tasks for our university Title III program is how do we create a sense of belonging for students inside, outside, and as part of the community that they're going to be living in while they're pursuing their college education. And one of the things that I'm really excited about that Corey probably can elaborate is how we've developed this summer bridge program to also incorporate and I'm gonna also mix Palawan ma English because ang peot nga ka malukot ko belaw lospe books ngaringi stories gider our Native Americans, Indigenous mar opportunities that our students will connect even ma Pacific Islander history, ma Palawan history, ma stories sa lodangera bluri re almo ngrulet rilet ay gal skula kadamda beberak time kadamda sula se selk pora skule se ya kukururnya pekre nga kakuktarar ate mangagib nagitra lo se sel dor lagi sir sel klamaria reng rarangal engira dalul trir matam dingelo se nga kasabe kal ngwa lived experience nga ma life nga grabli galo tungira school sa dringi mi marit legal ideas ma knowledge and that's how you practice critical thinking, that's how you build and develop knowledge over time. Mangagi ospe at textbooks, we've been sharing our textbooks that is written by a native indigenous person who's from the tribal tribe Eastern Oregon. Matamo madangel wase tial balul gim ngaringi tial skulam terwata ang tirigel adal keringi engara story tirai ge dire gal khot telula trangal kara abalwa dal mosam mariar to senga garela na mosegal marula project nga low isra story nga esel are saying it creates a very thriving learning environment because all of a sudden you might have students in the US who have never been exposed to any of these types of things. We're learning their history, they're learning their history, but now we have to provide space for them to learn about us and for us to be proud to learn about ourselves and talk about ourselves in these classrooms in a university setting, so we can really truly imagine a university that incorporates everyone who is part of that community.
Maybe Dr. Corey, if I may, maybe you can help us find grants through the U.S. government to be able to do our history of Palau, like Gelengir nga Malasra. There's a legend about Niwal, like our presidents of Palau, our first president. Since you're an English professor, maybe we can help with our students. Engele ngalagel laki ku ngeta klen galblo to mur. Ngale major na English. Oreng Kikuo can probably work with you on that grant program to be able to do like a history or social studies of Palau rather than us learning the American literature. So I just wanted to share that with you. So maybe in the future you can work with Benny and find grants to help us.
I would be happy to do that, but I also would like to say I'm so proud of our students.
Yes.
You know, they're going to take that work so far. They're
it can
already
be
doing
part
that
of
work.
their research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maela ka business admin major ka single mom, but ka elangan niya ka single mom.
No,
gabi
yes.
Makaw maruba ka nga school
No,
ka.
okay. So, nga ka biil, I kind of try to indak salman masadang kasi kind of gets me emotional, but if it's okay, yeah,
because you know when kakekare radil ekatamral amatter ka will mla transferred mora EOU to further your education, and we would like to inspire younger moms that
that's one of the things that I think about. Elanga ka purpose nga ko number one purpose nga ko ulmak na school. I wanted to be a great example. I wanted to be a great role model to my children. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old going 6. I've been away for some time among.
No, it's okay.
And
You're doing great.
we had a presentation earlier as interns for PNSB, and we. Oh, thank you. We had 5 minutes for each student, and so Akmal ndimlak acknowledge again. He was the only one in a presentation. So thank you for the support, Emoy. Amoy ito. For 7 years, ngotal mo rin ang alakam ang na-sacrifice sa ODR ang school for the first 2 years. And and then number 2 nga kami. Kasi no, I think now that we have 2 kids, namatakal din 1, giradal kayo nga sew, and dakal sa LD, 1 al parent, I mean, it's possible. We sa LD, but support and ding maringala. Yeah. So I don't recommend and dakamarad maungal. Sa BL it's possible and ding akmal recommend la say para school lot lang maringal sa daroy drer nga ligid ma family ligid. I've been akmal thankful artikal adrablik. Dala ka siblings nga, in-laws nga, mother, father-in-law nga, ang kagidali Kiru Martin, ang kagidali Dennis ito, for 3 ka ulang sa rabi, ikal, ang artiyang, alop na 3 nga, nga kamara school, because of their support, madirakal, Mira ka na, Maria Mira, lahat ama ka na mas maldital mamirngak. And I have 7 siblings. Etiro ko amot makaro ko ol nga sir nga, direkal ko ka, up to 3 nga liga kal directly. Yak mo ra school. Yes, I just want to take this time and then thank all of them, my families, for making this possible for me and motob de mo sabi akal ko to gagidal opportunities tiang mo suka not just me tiang mo future nga lagir nga kamabi tel tulungal ka mamal ko kimbambuli mabalurbelaw. Yes, akmal malokor na our moms out there and maklo marmiga ka nga kamarwa maklunge kalongal alwa say if ang so min mara school lang mahal sa BL and mal it a school la mal anytime also kung man sa BL ngur ang bong the chance is there. Just see see Bennie, contact CORI, go online and look up our applications, and then just Google is there. Just Google the forms. Engi amral ngangi our contacts sa matira gagid pages at our schools, and that's one of the ways how I found my way into EOU. And if it's okay, can I share about how I found my way to EOU? It's not a funny story because I was just telling Dr. CORI BREWSTER about how I applied to EOU. So, nga graduate pala high school 2016, and then we had recruiters from EOU come into our school, and they had the applications, and then they helped us apply. Dimlak turn in application nga lakulum da sa say I don't know la sangara so akal field almo masubringi berektik part access almo abanga last this nga, and then when I figure out the sangara sa Maria apply school sek kedra adrabli because I wasn't comfortable mo or adrabli yet, but I really wanted to go to the States. Makmara Texas, and then mo nga find out talwa say akong namadal rangal kotal nga ligek magilmo tel merbelaw makmerbelaw mang say gidem dimlak pora EOU, but EOU was there. Okay, say EOU amlay ra pala high school mang tumlar say gid makasay okay ere akmara school ra selbol tlo angal maka tigideng koradir gigareyangal kasi pwede mo orior ore talgibe ore akmara school makmo orior akmo orior astuang ya bini akuk may recruiter ngal ka school akuk sige del next year 2017 masigi 2016 ng May 2017 mong May elmutal malgoy kasi ngay tagi da sira ba kada risit ako mas kaway gal inform nga kaya kumamit nga kada coffee berry ra nan okla kada next day kasi okay bini Paul next day ngimitam da I was telling them I fell asleep and then ak ngimitam da mong lo di akpong ako find out tala saying dollar kal number 2 nga lagi el sa almak kasi oh my goodness okay dak el ang kamral gire kal mo apply mo ra school after nga gid number 2 nga lagi kal boltlow yak mo ra akmo osiga school so say gid 2018 nga maaklong kay gid number 2 nga lagi gigim ado nga mabiik yak kasi maldir kami kadarangal mahal da mi ko gid let's start small and take it slow and go at our own pace makmle try out ra PCC lang nga kakukmlo inspired ra kay gid dilbud o melaw I read her on the newspaper nga kasi nabiik before paguding isang kakasan na biiren nga long before bukod nga liya mo nga ka iliwira newspaper or was it around I think it was around the time like tirkam lo open gala moy akmle masa newspaper nga I learned that kam na transfer credit singi ingi ul maknam dang sa edal nga PCC transfer credit sa del mora a 4-year university makasay okay lang nga mo apply Raya gagi dili PCC esel bok marer nga kasabe egal transfer credits nga so taigi de kuk para PCC mal maar sel mo temberal mo graduate etira ko klumutal may adra EOU so that's the time nga ka maanguwa at te alle ego wase yak mo apply ra EOU ek mga do orang gagi dili ik inyaman mils ka 100 support like 100% al support wase kada mo ado and then akti ngarbelaw orior optetri rarangal anda ko bigikling nga katalt medra adra bleed ama minam direk kan mal mils ka support nga ma mother and father in law nga kamate direk ka sakal recognize ra antira nga lege karang kagidele median ito mang kagidele ang korang alige kana kagidele delegate Noah Kamsong el tira malulungal karang alige kana to ko el direct lamang mal ndim lakal mister nga kagidele Oregon he was psychology ito ko radi oh it's nice to see you okay I gotta go I'm gonna go fishing with Uncle Kowa yaku nalga ka radi lawa say okay it's nice to see you I have to go because I'm going to the farm with Grandma Maria oh man in a way it's good ang malungi la support system nga so thank you akmal grateful ngal tangat ra tray gidel loved ones nga kalsab help nga makmora school masube ore may ko contribute mora abelur belaw dira kal mosabe kal kukot makliya tulungal nga thank you
masulang ra inspirational message sir gawe shout out mora mo ito ngalgera mo ito ma padalal madamal madalam ra mariak mal matanterir mang gatamal marenga sil strong as support nga ra school kamongin mosube mangal mo blakarngum kada mral marenga sule man actor reng serka we wase mbayungil leng semto da school kadam tingan wase kalmutal return ko contribute ten mera blur belaw ma a family makablilem katamal marenga sule mra maralungin message serka el inspire article single moms, young mothers, ulwase there's opportunity they can talk to Dr. Cory, Dr. Bennie. Kung masa Miss Mesubed engang ngarinya meeting al labor ngi mang dikul masang eldo ka sesay elol mesum ede excuse ngi.
Sulang aktire kal mal diswal di acknowledge akoli kama mamral ngal tangat mal bato karungil ngal kara school gim molar tira bela ol may etamral edel morsel community ra mamra lakran the colleague is an amazing role model emra lungil makmal kim makmal proud ringi because oftentimes mral gira del madangela say kamamal school so we support families staying together mang ikaw mal colleague has been very open and selom open mo all ta situation raw eng agi mo beotra ka mama o lang asew beotra ka mama mo madangil waseng waraling we are people before we're students, right? And so we always tell them that you are still people, you have things you have to do, and if we want you to be a thriving ungil ngal gara school ungil sel foundation raw kaltmok mga mama gim support their self foundation raw so you can thrive mang aktiswal di acknowledge sige malingal tanga tertigangal ga school pamaral masaw lenggot na mo batok our families some are single parents we actually have apartments also kumar other optitra other abiri mera campus madire kal sama mal helper tiran ngaragang and koli amra lungil example because eng mermay because that's also what we want is mermay order belao contribute to mortial balwadal belao so amra
era morale I just want to thank you and Dr. Cory because, you know, kataplo misar adara marigel wasit tigading arsel diaksel goraran rirar islanders and then when I see Dr. Cory and we met and I want to thank you because I feel your spirit is really for the islanders and to see you really go out of your way to help the Palau students, not only the Palau students, the Pacific Islanders, because at times people think that we're just from a population of 21,000 and nobody really seemed to care. They said, oh, these guys, they don't know nothing, you know? And then you come from a big country like the U.S., millions and millions of people. But I see your passion helping us Pacific Islanders, and I just want to thank you from my heart for having that passion for our students and knowing that, you know, you're paving their future with Miss Mesubed to be able to return back home. And, you know, to see them actually EOU supporting the kids coming back home is just such an inspiration. And I just want to thank you so much for that passion and your love for helping our students and our children.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. It is absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah.
It is.
So,
listeners maradroguy agi kada batema magioratra lo mesar batokal makmom ititir trakal mal knowledgeable mal experience del representative ra EOU mata continue ra talk show mal masaule
ngay ngar mlareng sertial sorry meet kita ra 3:45 mang 3:45 el polsabet meet kita mar students sa civic center lobang gala minister ni right matuol ma kamo ay sulwase so el an nga ra kamle graduate ra communications and media journalism ngarasel gora o sengem girela media ma communication ra alsela blur belaw kam dingel waser ada dios pa at TikTok social media kamlam sa press conference ngara igel gora besel modern technology el gora ngara generation kal blam wesel sab edel improve alubang sab emel mo partner say and then coder get tamlahay recruiter ka get.
Okay. So in terms of what improvements, I'm still technically new to this, so I'm still trying to find my way through all of these things, especially with my like specialty being not more on the, how would you describe it? I guess in my communication practices over there at EOU, it was more on like filmmaking rather than the business side of things. So as much as I'd want to find improvements, I don't think I have the right say in it. But I do believe that social media is becoming a more popular thing and more influential throughout just the coming future. So I'm not Sure, I guess.
So you said you're more geared in filming.
Yes.
So you can do short videos.
I'm.
Oh, so he's the one who did the short 1-minute video of EOU?
I helped him.
Yeah. Oh, mang swadalo ay selwase nga tilob dara school el alra kara EOU mamutal congratulate ngi release el gora kadebel el video el 1 minute el girel tial campus tira Eastern Oregon University no dal sab gimlet millas mil uploader ngi raw ertial show raw UDESUALL and the mlodi hal sabel magatamo malas mlo si sabira pol mega talk show ekadamo si saber segi del 1 minute video mo uploader niya Janice Masal ma YouTube mang sab email mo msawrele lang gaygi del buiga el gilt makli segi del katep el video so you can actually instead of working for the government by sab ML mo start a business regal tarangyas kel entrepreneur. Yeah. Mela go there again.
I work at One Reef as their communications development coordinator.
Wow. That's good. And I think your father is a
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my uncle.
oh, gang Patrick
He
Transportation?
was the radio personality at 87.9.
Oh yeah, right. That's
Patrick
right. So, Dr. Corey, I wanted over when we first met, Benny mentioned about trying to. Your background is English literature, professor. She mentioned about trying to use math and to sometimes it's hard for like us islanders to understand mathematics. And so she mentioned about something, if you can explain it, using math through English and through like social studies or English literature. That's something new I've heard. Can you share it with our viewers and audience? And
I'll try.
Yeah.
The math faculty will do a much better
I mean,
job.
I'm not the experts, but I find it interesting.
Yeah.
So I want you to share
Sure.
with our,
We've been talking a lot about culturally sustaining pedagogies at EOU. What does it mean to transform the university to a place that doesn't see students coming in as having to adapt to us, but us needing to adapt to students, right? Like, we value our students' strengths, their priorities, the knowledges that they bring in. We want to understand the communities that they hope to be part of and shape after college. So that larger sort of picture, it's really trying to think about connection, story. We don't teach math or English or any subject as kind of here are the skills that you must sort of stuff into your mind, but what do you already know? How are you reasoning? What are your thought processes? How do you apply this knowledge to different contexts that you're in? So through Summer Bridge, we've been trying to operate through this kind of themes-based, culturally sustaining approach with this theme Stories of Place. So we have a central book. The book is a collection of short stories by Beth Piatote, who is a professor at University of California, Berkeley. She's also an enrolled member of the Nez Perce tribe with the Colville Reservation, and much of her work is centered in the indigenous lands in which EOU is located. So we're asking students to use her book as an opening place to be thinking about how do different kinds of knowledges come together and shape our communities, our identities, the ways that we approach different kinds of problems. So the challenge to the math faculty has been like, okay, you're not teaching arithmetic necessarily. We're asking you to help students think mathematically in connection to that theme and to these stories. So beadworking, for instance, like how is beadworking a mathematical practice? What sorts of mathematical reasoning skills do you need to think about patterns? How is math embedded in different cultural systems? So again, I'm not a math professor, so that's very abstract. But I think challenging all of us as faculty to really think about like who are our students and what do they know, and how do we help them see all of that knowledge that they are bringing with them as the foundation for their education.
I find it very interesting because now with the modern technology and then look, I mean, you're an English professor, and he wanted to do English. His background was literature, and then you convinced him to go into communications and media. But in a way, you convinced him to do something that he loves to do, but yet it's also part of English literature because it takes a lot of writing, and what he just did on the video. So to actually change things so that the indigenous people or people who don't use English as their main language can actually understand what you're incorporating it into teaching, to be able to teach the islanders, to be able to understand, to make sure that they become successful and pass their exams and be able to graduate. That's adang goramo I say, yeah? I mean,
I'd agree.
So right now you just started working with One Reef. Oh, so now you're coordinating. Can anybody come and ask you, like NGOs, to help assist them with their videos, their flyers, or?
I mean, only time will tell once I actually start and get the whole feel of it, because I did graduate with a degree in communications and media, but as I heard a lot that education and in the workplace, they're two different things. So I want to see if...
Can I brag about NYGMA?
Yeah.
So I was in Palau last summer for the first time, and I heard myself speaking at PCC about LeGrand and what students' experience was going to be like. And I was like, none of this makes any sense. It's so hard to describe. Like, what does it mean we're in a small town? Like, you can't see that. So we started talking about, like, how do we better help students sort of picture what their life is going to be like? NYGMA has been the intern for this whole year, helping us shape this video project, coordinating interviewees, drafting interview questions. He's so good at like drawing out from people what they know. It's been incredible to watch him shape this entire video project. So we just have 1 minute of it done so far, but it will be a series of 5 shorter videos with different students speaking to their experience in college. Yeah. He's incredible.
Can you, I can ask him, can you, since you're creating questions for the media and you have that background, what kind of questions should we ask our presidential candidate and our senators and vice president? If you can just throw a few. I mean,
No, I understand, but there's one with it being I'm very bad at coming up with things on the spot. I need to like prep a long time. And with the second thing, I'm very bad in politics.
And that's the best. The innocent is always the best. How long have you been back?
I've only been here like maybe a month or so.
Mga raw do swim rap PGST.
Oh man, it's still new. It was applied when I left, so I didn't know any PGST before. So
do you folks pay kumharak tax ra Oregon?
Isn't it tax-free state?
We don't have sales tax.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why
property tax.
Property tax. How much is property tax?
It depends. Yeah, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Same.
I know I get the bill every year.
Nga raw do swim. Nga raw ora.
GST? I would say the same thing NYGMA says. I was Doctor lasang mle happen rak ngarteng MIRA lang back and forth. Ding akti monge di wasay ha indiak kading gina dalam ara kalang mang daka mo sa price mo kading uling kita gina dalam karangal. So I don't really have any comments about it. I guess it's good. Yeah.
Younger generation. No, younger generation is more open.
Okay.
Yeah. Komporati, just go with the flow and it.
I mean, people. I ding guk tunga guk. I don't really bother what's on the kumrang kasi I mean ako kangigal ginadal ko adapt sige kum dasir adapt
and then akum dasing al sitsing total $480 ko ngayar mo mala refund so yeah, that's part of it, but
okay.
So Dr. CORI, with the in-state tuition now after the renegotiation with the compact, do you see more students? How many students are at EOU now?
From Palau?
Yeah.
So we graduated 8 students.
Year.
This spring, we're anticipating 20 new students coming in the fall, so we'll probably have between 35 and 40 students from Palau on campus, and another 7 to 10 who will be fully online.
Online taking courses.
Taking courses from Palau or taking classes from elsewhere. So we offer, our university has bachelor's degrees and master's degrees that are 100% online, as well as the programs that we offer on campus.
Would the tuition on taking online classes and being physically there, is there any difference on the tuition?
There's a little bit of difference in part because of the way that we do student fees, but it's pretty comparable.
Mang kamiusan mo misaigal tuition ra schooling kami ko mga food scholarship ang wangara tetele la ara la schooli umador mar kami.
I can share. So I was on PNSP first year nga when I went back when I first went to EU. I was under PNSP, but I went into EOU in the middle of the school year. So I earned under 36 credits. So I do recommend, if you're applying to go to school, start in fall, start in the beginning of the school year, so that way it's easier for you to earn your 36 credits and then apply for PNSP. But you guys can always talk to PNSP, write them a letter, and then see what they can work with helper as a student under 36 credits. But it is in the application, you have to have 36 credits or say so maka na start ngara school. Sorry, what was the question nga kamla?
May LA ko national scholarship.
So
or
yes, my first school year, kamla na PNSP after say, dimne pay out of pocket yel dimla kal cover agagidele financial aid. So I'm using financial aid and then out of pocket. So to financial aid, I'm under like student loans what do you call that? The work study. Le nga ka dual citizen mga ngisel US gagito ko sabi ko benefit ring as a US citizen ako rin malakok student loans sa school. So I try to avoid loans. So just for this meantime that I'm not under PNSP, I'm just going to use that student loan and then earn that 36 credits before next school year, and then I'm going to get back on. But I would say the online courses, I try to stick to the in-person courses because they're less expensive than the online courses. So that way, sa endra school year, jakal mal-clowable sir. Because if I have like global sir mo prevent nga kal mo o dakal sabi kal register for the next school year. I was just telling Jennifer that I try to pay off as much as I can, and because I don't want like a really great debt at the end of the school year, because that kind of prevents a student to register for the next term. That's right. Yes. Okay. So but we can always try. It's always good to ask, just email the financial aid office and see how maybe they can work something to help you on that. Maybe make an allotment. But I've never made an allotment. I always try to pay it off because I'm scared of debts.
Mang daitan gora ang tela siram goton mo siya so isa o yung tela tuition fee ka lumngela dorm.
Tuition fee lumngela dorm. Nga they remember sel top of that charges. It's over.
Do you want me to take that one?
Yeah, you can, because I'm talking about my charges, and then when PNSP covers it, I have what, 3,000 or 2,000 left to cover, and financial aid, and then I just use my PNSP to cover all whatever is. So it's PNSP helps. Yeah, can you help me on that, please?
Sure. So the question is about the cost of tuition.
Mm-hmm. So our viewers and listeners who wants to attend can.
So
understand.
Students at EOU have COFA students at EOU, there's a COFA rate that has been in-state tuition for many years, thanks to the advocacy of students and CAN. And the approximate cost is around $10,000 a year for tuition. And then if students live on campus, depending on if they want to live by themselves in their own room or share a room, what kind of meal plan they want in the dorms, can be another $10,000 to $12,000 on top of that. So students should plan for $22,000 in that range for full-time tuition, room, all of their utilities and food. So students who are getting the Pell Grant through federal financial aid, that's a big chunk of that. Students are eligible for work study, like Coley said, and then the PNSB assists with that. One of the challenges for our students is that Eastern Oregon is on a quarter system. So if the PNSB scholarship pays out 2 times a year, they really have to think about budgeting their money for 3 terms instead of 2.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully Palau National Scholarship Board will hear our talk show so they can try to adjust and accommodate the students on that. Do you want to add anything?
Oh, yeah. Before I add on to the grants and all the scholarships I have, I just want to give excuse me. I just want to give a comparison to the price range between PCC, Palau Community College, and Eastern Oregon University. So as a lot of you guys know, every time the refund comes out, we typically get money then spending money here.
From PCC.
Yeah, from PCC, because our tuition is very affordable, and honestly, it's just a very good way to start learning how to budget and how to manage your college life. So I thought it was going to be the same going there, but with the whole tuition change and having to rely not only on financial aid but also for PNSB for financial assistance, it really demands students to prioritize what they need over what they want. So in terms of my case, I did apply for FAFSA and Palau National Scholarship Boards. I forgot what.
The Pell Grant?
The Pell Grant, yeah. So that's my situation.
And you also worked how many hours a week?
I don't remember.
But you also work part-time
Yes.
on campus?
Was that other work study as
It was
well?
also under work study,
Okay.
yes.
Same.
But you folks are surviving, and you survived. You
Oh
graduated.
yeah, I survived. Just have
Yeah.
loans that I have to pay for PNSP, and that's it.
Budget.
Yeah. So, what was your loan amount on PNSB scholarship?
If I can remember, maybe around 12 to 15,000.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, we can also pay it off through service credit, which
Yeah.
I am currently doing. Yeah.
So you can do it outside of the government. It doesn't necessarily have to be you working
I
in the
think
government.
so.
Yeah.
I think
So
it
you're
just
with one
it
group.
has to be.
As long as you're here
Yes,
in Palau,
I think
right?
so.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
So you're with One Reef. I think they're non-profit.
I believe
Yeah,
so.
that's good. So you get to pay it through.
Service
yeah.
to Palau, yes.
Oh, that's good. So when you pay it through service, how much is that deductible? Is it the
I wish I
amount
could tell you
or?
the math. I think it's the duration based on how much you did loan and how much they supported.
Oh, that's good. Wow. Well, kudos to you folks. Shout out to you and the graduates and the continuing students and the new students that are 20-some students that are enrolling this fall. So those students, do they get automatically, you folks give them scholarship or like a small scholarship from this college?
Oh, I forgot to talk
Yeah.
about that. Oh, no, go ahead. Oh, okay. So, yes, Mananganga Scholarship will offer at EOU. So, they open October, is that right? All of them open October, and then they close in February 1st, or is it at the end of the month?
Get
And then,
scholarship.
yes, there's nga patingala scholarship. There's also the COFA scholarship, and which I also got. So it wasn't just financial aid and PNSB. There's also like EOU scholarships that we can apply for, and then it helps you with that. So
Sem dula sa COFA scholarship applied through Rangrang.
Can you help? Do
The
you know?
COFA
Yeah, with
scholarship?
the COFA scholarship.
Where do they apply, and does it apply just to EOU or other college universities?
So I think the one that Cole's talking about is the one that's through EOU. I mean, there are multiple scholarships, but on the EOU financial aid page, we have a centralized location for different kinds of scholarships that students coming to our university qualify for. So they can open up the application and they can check what they identify with. So are they a student from a COFA nation? Are they a student of color? Are they the first in their family to go to the university? And the foundation will review all of those different criteria and then forward the scholarships that apply to them.
Oh, wow. So there's scholarship for COFA, like the Freely Associated and Palan Marshall Islands. And then there's scholarship for students if they're the first student in their family to go to college. Wow.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, they're arranged. So we always encourage students plan ahead, apply for all of the scholarships that are available. Summer Bridge is also a scholarship in the sense that tuition, those students can get 2 to 3 credits free before the start of the school year. They get free room and board for that orientation period. We ran an alternative spring break course this year as well, in which students earned 2 free credits. And we went on a long, cold camping trip to the Southwest as part of that course. So there are lots of different opportunities like that for additional support.
Everything they can just go online to EOU website and look and then apply if they're interested, even in doing the master program or PhD program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The easiest way is just to Google EOU admissions, and they'll get to our admissions page and see the directions.
Awesome. Well, we're wrapping up. I just want to thank you both and shout out to the rest of the students from EOU and congratulations to all the graduates. And we wish you all the best and looking forward to your graduation next year. Kamran Masaura, inspirational messages, and thank you, Dr. Corey, for your passion and love for helping the Pacific Islanders. We truly appreciate what you have done and continue to do, you and Benny. And we truly believe that this won't be your second visit. It'll be many more visits to come. So thank you so much. And then we'll start from you and you can give your closing, and then Cole, and then Dr. Corey, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, so for my closing remarks, I just want to give little tips. Well, not much tips, but just advice. Don't be scared to do new things. Like, I know we come from a small island and it's scary to think of, oh, we're going to go to such a big country. There's going to be a whole lot of things that you don't know. And to be fair, I met a lot of people that still don't know what they want to do or if they're even right for it. But I just say, go for it, you know? Yeah.
That was really good, NYGMA. You said everything I wanted to say. But NYGMA is so right. And just ask. Even if you feel like it's a dumb question, I don't think there's no such thing as a dumb question. Just ask it. You know, it's better to be safe than sorry. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say too. And pay attention to deadlines. I know it's hard not to procrastinate, and deadlines mal important naman. So make sure to check our application sa kami na PNSP, EOU application. What else? Application na gira del marula. Madira kaldi assignments sa kami umang make sure da ko miss sa deadline at so mga man mo you find yourself sa mada ka submit ta subliw. Reach out to your professors and then talk to them, and also like reach out to your advisors. Advisors sa kami they're there to help you. So just communicate with them. Ask, and then I just wanna thank my family again. And thank you, Dr. Cory Brewster. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, NYGMA, for being here today. Wait, I'm not hosting, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us today. It has been such an incredible learning experience working with students, but also the ability to meet with schools, teachers, administrators, all of the people that we've been able to learn from during this trip. I would just say, as my closing to those students who are coming for fall term, to remember that we will meet you at the Pasco Washington Airport, the Tri-Cities Washington Airport, on August 30th. So please send me your travel itinerary so that we know that we have room in the van to take you to the dorms.
Thank you. Well, once again, Dr. CORI, Miss BENNIE MOSES-MESUBED, NYGMA, Macaulay, thank you for so much for coming and sharing your inspirational messages and sharing us about Eastern Oregon University. Dr. CORI, once again, thank you so much for your love and passion for our Pacific Islander students. We truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Kamral Masaule, muto shout out tan moramhoy ito. Kamral Masaule support ta Koli and gagit del diwaisem ato dara next year. Mang shout out ta Legorga and keep up the awesome work. Komral mlo Masaule mlo sa miloreng se omeserma mertia UDESUALL le oreng sa igelguk isela Eastern Oregon University ma testimony tigay del terul ngas kal ngaraskur se mamla to there say this was the low isel waseng morning farmers market rakwaps rangarar der el ara kluguk ratutal mo afternoon nalolto niya Governor Sharp sa kuma omadeta isem tu akra kwaps rangarar mwesa igel guk lokal magitrar maas el altuta ngaya magitra maibrel ra selmle kape kara ngarpedra bitara kor state government magitrar maas ra ege gitatim dingel waser maas ra ege abl ololto da scholarship el mortigal ngalge dra bekara magodoguk tu akle supporter tir Swadalo Aiselwase, our other Palau Boat Race Association, Maral May 30th Independence Day Gidra Blur Belau, Gora Swadal Mo display, I get Rogul Erten Mora Race, September 22. Ra 10 o'clock mo 1 o'clock magidim easy so mamel ruriu lagi me o ay sa pasyol morning display raigal erte so mamel mo invite raigal magit raigal state el podong do a director kadoy ma minister niral coordinate rulin mo ngel men sabrirar ar adalo magit ten me ko kotra makatingire o mesaigal erte mo racer el 30th Independence Day direct al suadalo ay silwasem lo sub edel mga daadu ra Mr. Campes Cosolel niya chairman ra reapportionment committee el sub edel inviter in May ma committee el member is biisin mergi dertial guk BS el boda sencure ar 15 el senators raigal belung ma hopefully Mr. Cosolia mo sub el low ice ra sometime next week malbol temelaw UDESUALL el el biisin mergit malguk kalgora ngarinya karmiw al ubang comment sa kami sub il logeretir mokomral mutal moral masaul lo sub mi lo mes oreng sertiang happy weekend kadamral loweng lo se pom gargik lang ul mo pom gargik lo mom kalrara el malen slide ra pabeldap komral masaul ya dios lolmon lo makal nga tergi derogoy matial balwat komral masulang. Thank you.
EOU marang maula mayop aungil madangali arngul belaw isayaul akmul mogon our other belaw sayaul akmul mogon our other belaw we sayaul Hakmul mogot